And on some of the scenes, like I like to build shells to give it that three-dimensional effect. And it'd be like doing sand castles, and you dribble on a layer, let it dry, then do another layer. So if you don't wait long enough, it all kind of mushes down.
And they must be very heavy, right?
Yeah.
So you have to use like a lot of nails to hang it on the wall.
Yeah, I have about 3 nails for each, and I also put like a piece of like 1x4 that I'll screw it to the back of the picture so it really has a firm support. Yeah.
Then you also have another collage that you did, another craft project.
Yeah. Well, I went to a trip to Paris last year for bicentennial, and I had all these great things that I bought. You know, wonderful little souvenirs and pictures of Paris. And, you know, usually you just put things away in the book and you never see them again. So I said, well, let me do a Paris project. And this is it. This was a key ring. And I just took the key ring off, and it said it was Paris 1789 to 1989. This little perfume bottle. I had Chinese food in Paris.
So each of these represent a different place where you went.
And there was some fun things, like we went to Giverny, which is where Monet, who did the water lilies, lived. So I actually took a picture of it, and then I bought a little postcard, and you can see it was the same place, you know.
Oh, okay.
So there was a little juxtaposition, and I went to the Louvre, and what was fun about that, I decided to have a picture of the new glass pyramid that they built, picture of the Mona Lisa, and then here was my little dinner receipt from the cafeteria of the Louvre. So you can eat at the Louvre, and it's real good food. And we rode on the Bateau Mouche, and these were my friends. They were in Paris at the same time. And I know I had an Eiffel Tower keychain and a postcard, and then my photograph of the Eiffel Tower. So it was kind of fun.
And now, kind of on the same theme as this, you have a big collage on your wall.
Yeah.
So what do all those things represent?
Okay. Well, just real briefly, you know, we all have small apartments in New York, and you put things away and you never see them again. So I decided I was going to take all my favorite things and just stick them on the wall. And let's see. I don't know, I have pictures, well, I have my scratch and sniff card from the movie Polyester, which was great, the only film that was done in Odorama.
Right.
Let's see, I have some art postcards I've got, pictures of my good friends.
So it's kind of the same thing I did on the inside of my kitchen cover.
Exactly.
Only you have to make yours look nicer. I can just stick anything in.
Yeah, because when I saw you, when you opened up your cabinet and there were those pictures, I said, that's what I'm going to do. You know, it kind of grew. I have little buttons, theater posters. I have a couple of friends who are artists, and I have a couple of their works on the wall. My friend Patty in Paris, you know, he's immortalized himself a couple of times. And a Fredericks of Hollywood catalog. It's kind of fun.
Just whatever you think looks neat.
And you can change it. You know, you get bored with something.
Well, great. And Bruce also has an interesting collection to show us, which is very original. Why don't we go over and show them that? So over here, Bruce has a pretty original collection. So Mike, tell what this is all about.
This is my international toothpaste collection. And I think I'm the only person in the world who collects toothpaste.
The only one I've ever
heard. I've always wanted a collection that was unique. And I thought of a couple of things. And while I was thinking, I realized I had all these different toothpastes from Europe. I used to be a performer, and when I toured, I always ended up buying toothpaste because I could never find where I put my toothpaste. So, I mean, I just ended up with lots of it, and I came back to America, and I had like 20 different varieties. And now I have about 80 up here. I think I have about 20 more in a drawer because there was no more room for it. But, you know, it's really great. I don't travel as much now, but my friends do, and everyone brings me toothpaste. I'm a cheap gift. You know?
And what are some of your favorites?
Well, Darky. Darky is one of my favorites because you can't get it anymore. They decided it was racist, so you know, they kind of changed it. There's a little article from the Village Voice right behind it, and they changed Darky to Darley, and they kind of changed the guy to something more Duke Ellington looking. And this is my champagne toothpaste from France. I really like that one. I think it's kind of fun. It doesn't taste like champagne, though.
Do toothpaste from other countries taste different, or taste the toothpaste pretty much universal?
No, some are mint flavored. A lot of the children ones are like, well, these are strawberry flavored, and there's one that I have one that's banana flavored, and that one tastes really weird, banana toothpaste, yeah. And from Italy, I have this one, which is chewing gum flavored. And like, I always thought it was really stupid. It's like, well, you know, gives you a flavor for chewing gum in your mouth when you go to bed. and this is my monk's toothpaste. This toothpaste is made by monks. And I had a friend that visited this monastery in Italy, and they had a little pharmaceutica, and they made their own toothpaste. So she got me monk's toothpaste.
What flavor was that?
It's mint.
Mint.
Yeah, monks like mint. Yeah. And I have some old tooth powders. And it's kind of nice. It's like a lot of my friends take part in my collection, so it's good for the friendships. They give me stuff. And this is one of my rotten teeth, because I have like really rotten teeth. So.
That was one of your actual
Yeah,
teeth.
that's one of my actual.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So around the windowsill, you also have a lot of snow scenes.
Yeah,
How come you have?
well, it was like souvenirs.
Just
You know,
souvenirs.
you go to a place and you get a little city in the bottle, you know, in the snow. And they're really fun, and again, people give them to me, you know, if they're going away. If they can't get me toothpaste, they get me a snow scene. So I have most of the major cities. I have like Paris and London and Montreal, a couple of New York.
Any from North Dakota?
No.
No.
Yeah, oh, it's terrible.
I'll see what I can do.
Do they have like Mount Rushmore in
That's
snow
South
scene?
Dakota.
Well, no,
what else do you have around here to show us?
Well, I have something it's slightly obscene. It's from Bali. My friends are on their honeymoon there, and they said, we were looking for a gift for you, and we found this, and it's a ceremonial penis holder, and it's worn in this ritual Balinese ceremony, and it's like this long, and well, as you can see,
yeah. Okay. And I see it being modeled in the picture.
Yes. Yeah, that's what's great. They gave me a postcard that actually showed them being worn by the tribesmen.
You know it's legitimate.
Yeah, absolutely legitimate.
Otherwise, we won't show it here in my country.
Otherwise, we think I was lying.
Yeah. What do you do for a living?
Well, currently I'm the import manager at Barney. So,
Which is what you used to do.
I used to be an actor.
And what did you act in?
I acted in lots of shows, but my last show was Oh Calcutta, and that was my claim to shame. You know, I exposed myself across the country.
So what was it like touring the United States during Oh Calcutta?
Cold.
Cold.
No, it was great. I saw America, and I mean, it's a really great country.
And America saw you.
America saw me. Yeah. My parents didn't come to that show.
We want to give you Bruce's address in case anyone travels anywhere or has any toothpaste they want to send them or whatever.
Yeah. If you want to be a part of my apartment, you know.
Well, your apartment is certainly an interesting place to visit. I want to thank you for sharing it with my viewers here on my craft show, and we had a very good time visiting you.
Well, it was great to be here. I really love my craft show, and I want to give you a little G.I. Joe toothbrush, a little traveling toothbrush, and
wow, well, great.
So you always brush your teeth, you know.
Great. All right, well, thanks for being
thanks, Mark.
Here, back inside my apartment, I wanted to show you some pieces of furniture that my father made for me. The first thing he made for me was this cabinet for my TV. Now, my father is a farmer, but in the past couple of years, he started a hobby of woodworking, and he built himself a little workshop on our farm and started to accumulate tools. And I eagerly put him to work to make some things for me for my apartment here in New York. So I designed it and told him what I wanted, and then he did the work. So the TV is here. Then it has a shelf for the VCR underneath, and then I even have room for my answering machine underneath there. And I obviously had to measure very carefully. So I had my TV and my VCR here in New York, and he was making the cabinet in North Dakota. So I had to measure carefully, and he had to measure carefully. And luckily, when I got it back to New York, everything fit perfect. There's just enough room on top of the TV where I can keep video cassettes. And I really like it, and it gives me a good place to set things on top. Before, I just kind of had the TV on a board with the VCR under it, and now with this cabinet, it makes a real nice piece of furniture. I was kind of visualizing that I would put a board in the back and close up the back, but my father suggested that we keep it open in the back, and that turned out real good. They gave me a couple little nooks and crannies where I can store things. I'll show you. Back here, since we left it open, there's just a little room for me to just store a few odds and ends. And then in a little apartment like I have here in New York, any little nook or cranny where you can stick stuff is very well appreciated. And I had him make the molding, which I like very much. Because my apartment is kind of pre-war, so this gives it that look. And he'd never made molding before, and we were looking to buy it, and we couldn't find exactly what we wanted. He hadn't made molding, but he had made picture frames. And I liked his picture frames very much, and I suggested he use the same technique he used to make the picture frames for the molding, and that worked out really good. And he made me a second piece of furniture, too, over here on the other wall. He made me this platform for me to put this foam mattress on. This is a foam mattress folded into 3 parts that I used to have sitting on the floor. And I thought it'd be great if I could get like a box to put underneath it that would bring it up to couch level and also give me a lot of storage space, which is what I have in here. Let me show you. So in here, I have a lot of this stuff that I have stored. So this is great, and it gives me a couch. And then at night, this is put on the floor and folded out, and it's a bed. And then he also made me a third piece. Usually when my father makes furniture, he stains it, and then he has to use like real expensive wood, and staining is a lot of work. But in my apartment, I like everything painted white. So as a result, you can just use real cheap plywood, and it's just painted, and it saves a lot of work. This is a box that we made to put over my radiator. In here you can see my radiator. And it's great because you couldn't really set much on a radiator, but now I have like a little window seat here in front of my window. So once again, all 3 of these pieces match. They all have the molding. When my mother saw the molding, she said, "Oh, that just looks like something that you're going to have to dust." That's how mothers think, you know. And she's right. The molding does get dirty. And he also made some molding for me to frame a mirror that I have on the wall here in my apartment. So I just want to share these things with you. And if you're in North Dakota and you need anything made, I'll give you the number of my dad. When I was in North Dakota, I took time to appreciate old barns. You know, barns are quickly disappearing in North Dakota and probably all over the country. It was 100 years ago, all farms needed barns because everyone had workhorses, and then you needed hay, so you needed a hayloft, and barns were everywhere. But now these days, who needs workhorses anymore? So as a result, who needs barns? So the barns that were built 100 years ago are just quickly disappearing and being torn down and are dilapidated. And anyone who does build a new barn these days, it's usually just made of steel and doesn't resemble a barn at all. So I thought it would be nice to take time to capture some of these barns on video. Maybe you're wondering why barns are painted red. Well, years ago, when barns were first being built, it was considered flashy to paint your barn at all. So I suppose people didn't even have paint for their house. And if you painted your barn, it was like you were showing off. But then farmers started to use red iron oxide mixed with skim milk and lime. And they got a paint that hardened and got like a plastic coating on the barn. And it was reddish, and then people started to stay on with the red color, and as a result, that's why barns are red. Along with country barns disappearing, also country churches are very special too. They don't make them like that anymore, really. So let's also take a moment to reflect on some country churches. And these were also country churches in my community in Portland, North Dakota.